A very good morning to each and every one of you. I, on behalf of the Discipline of Library Information Science, as well as the School of Social Sciences, take this wonderful opportunity to welcome each and every one of you to today's special talk on the theme, ranking of institutions, parameters, and considerations. This morning, we are extremely privileged to have Dr. Arora, who will be delivering on the topic that I just mentioned. We are extremely thankful to Dr. Arora, sir, for accepting our invitation to come and deliver today's topic. We would like to really, we are very grateful to you in spite of your tight schedules. You have agreed to come and deliver the presentation. Well, many of us, he's not an unfamiliar person. In fact, he's a very well-known personality. There wouldn't be anybody in the discipline of library information science, especially, who will not be known to me. He's a very famous personality. But well, for the benefit of those of you who may not have much information about him, let me give a brief introduction about Dr. Arora. Well, Dr. Arora was Director of the Information and Library Network Center, that is in Flipnet, under University Grants Commission. His leadership as Director of Flipnet was well acknowledged as a remarkable one. It was under his dynamic leadership that digital educational platforms like Short Sim2, Short Ganga, Short Congo, 3 research repositories, endless e-resources for college students, EPG Parshala were successfully launched. In fact, I would be surprised if some question arises out of all these initiatives that he has met, because they are also very familiar to each and every one of us. And Dr. Arora was a librarian of IIT Bombay and IIT Delhi and the National Institute of Immunology. And during his service as I mentioned above the institutes, he was also involved in many research and development initiatives. He has authored more than 60 research articles and has successfully executed 6 major projects. He has also received several national and international awards for his academic contributions in the discipline and also for his dynamic leadership contributions. Presently, he is serving as the advisor to the National Board of Education, that is called NEA. We are extremely privileged to have him, and I am very sure his presentation is going to help us prepare ourselves as we take forward a university and also to maintain the university reputation. Right now, we are having the universities ranked as A++, and I hope, and I'm very sure that his presentation, today's presentation, is going to enlighten us as how we can prepare ourselves better and to continue consistently maintain the university's ranking. Well, thank you once again, Dr. Arora, sir, for accepting our invitation to be with us this afternoon. And as a token of love and appreciation, we have a small gift for you as a bouquet, and I would like to request Professor Sohas, Director of the School of Social Sciences, to kindly greet him with a bouquet. Thank you very much for accepting. There is a very famous quote which says, if you want to be a reference library, you must learn to overcome not only your shyness, but also the shyness of others. S.R. Ramanathan. And today's special lecture is being organized to honor S.R. Ramanathan's 130th birth anniversary. A brief information about Dr. S.R. Ramanathan. But he was born in August 1892. He was a librarian, author, and a mathematician. And he's also considered to be the father of library science, documentation, and information science in India. And is widely known across the globe. His birthday is observed every year as a National Librarian Day. He was a university librarian and professor of library and information science at Banaras University. Well, I think further information about S.R. Ramanathan will be delivered by our colleague, Professor Jidusha. So, without wasting much time now, I would like to give the rest of the time to the chairperson, director, the School of Social Sciences, Professor Solas.
Good morning. I welcome all to this special lecture on ranking of institutions, parameters and considerations organized on the occasion of 130th birth anniversary of Dr. S.R. Ramanathan. When we come across the term institutional ranking, a number of questions probably come to our mind, which mainly center around what, why, and how. And this lecture, I think, is actually going to answer these questions. To kind of give a background about the talk today, the special lecture today, ever since the first global university rankings came out in 2003, global higher education decision makers, national policy makers, and international students now look to them for inspiration, motivation, and guidance. The importance of ranking in education has grown in the past 2 decades. The ranking of institutions helps in building global brand, institutional visibility, strategic collaborations, institutional decision-making, monitoring, and benchmarking. Data collection, attracting researchers and students, and research impact also are as a result of this. The ranking of institutions help in building global brand, institutional visibility, and so on, as I mentioned. The most significant institutional ranking systems are Cocorelli, Simons, Times Higher Education, and the academic ranking of world universities. In India, National Institutional Ranking Framework is the most significant ranking system. These ranking systems serve as foundation for marketing purposes, and they also benefit the institutions, countries, and international students in selection of desired institutions. Although institutional ranking can improve in the future, but for now, they have become a very important decision-making tool in higher education sector, especially for in Indian context. My appreciation to the discipline of library and information science for organizing this special lecture and inviting Dr. Jagdish Arora and giving us the pleasure of having him here. Now I request Professor Jagdish Arora to please welcome the gathering and highlight further on this particular lecture.
Thank you, Professor Solas. Very good morning to all of you. Very warm welcome to this lecture. We fit in the room, but then we are online also, and maybe most of the people are there watching us online. I'd say a little bit about why this topic, and then I also talk about the day on which we are organizing this lecture. First of all, I would like to place on record our sincere thanks to Professor Arora for having given time. He is a very busy person. He is advisor to the MPA and is involved in this work. So we thought that there is no other person who can really talk on this topic. Therefore, we requested him and he immediately agreed to the proposal, and particularly on the day on which we want. Actually, the day is generally celebrated from 9th to 12th of August, and it is being celebrated all over the country. The topic that we thought of, we were just wondering whether this is the right topic to celebrate the birthday of Ranganathan. And we questioned ourselves, and we also asked Dr. Arora whether the topic really matches Ranganathan's birthday celebration. And both we as well as him were quite convinced, yes, this is the topic to celebrate Ranganathan's birthday. Ranganathan was a mathematician, and he talked in terms of science and mathematics. He was a teacher of physics and mathematics at university level. For 4 or 5 years, he was teaching there, very active, not only in his discipline, but also in associations, in taking people together, collaborative work for the discipline of mathematics. It was by chance that he was, while working in a college, in his native place, he was given a chance to work as a university librarian in the University of Madras, which he didn't want to take up because he was so much involved in physics and mathematics. He was also working for the associations of the disciplines. So he didn't want to leave it. But then his principal said, you please join, because they thought he has the capabilities of working successfully as a university librarian. And they even promised him the day he wanted to come back, he can come back and join his job and profession later on also. But he never looked back. In his 80 years of life, almost 50 years were actively devoted to the profession of librarian in information science. I'll say a little bit about him, which really impresses me and would also impress you all. A national research professor, which he was given in early 60s. There were only 4 national professors in the country, and he was one of them. C. Raman, and people of his stature were given, like I think Ghosh was also there. 4 people were there. Professor Kale from law, Suniti Kumar Chatterjee from literature. So he was one of those 4. Padam Shri was there. In those days, it was not. It was little rare also. He was such a personality that right from Madras, where he instituted libraries and departments of library information science, Bangalore, Delhi, Banaras, Ujjain. You think of a place and he has a contribution there. So he was such a personality. He wrote 60 books and 2,000 articles. 60 books and 2,000 articles. And the influence of his writings is such that people are researching on his philosophy and thoughts even today. I may be wrong, he has a H index and I-10 index of 20 and 36, which is quite surprising and at times unbelievable also. People at OCLC are doing research on the thoughts and philosophy that were given by Gandhi. He donated his savings also to the profession. He created a trust, Sarada Ranganathan Endowment Trust, in the name of his wife, and it exists today. And he also would also like to share with you that he took only half day leave on his marriage day. So that shows his sincerity and dedication to the profession and the society. In the first half, the marriage was solemnized, and the second half, he was in the university, back to his work. He believed in Guru Shishya Parampara, and he believed that his students should also be like that, and his students were like that. Our teachers were his students, and they used to tell how we used to teach them inside the class and outside the class. A very strict disciplinarian. So this was about Ranganathan, and about the topic today. Why we were thinking of celebrating the occasion, we were thinking of topics, and why we thought of this topic, because IGNOU is not part of the scheme where institutions are ranked. Though we are a A++ institution, to our credit, but we thought why we are not part of national institution ranking framework, why we are not there, why should we not be there? So we thought of wanting the expert to know from him why we are not there, how we can be there. In fact, informally, he has agreed, yes, we will also be there in the future. So we are thankful to him for that. I would also like to share with you about Dr. Arora that we were not part of implement. We were not getting the resources from implement as other universities get because of certain limitations. But it was his kind gesture, his help to our university that we were included in the scheme of things and we were getting resources from implement. It was his help, his initiative. We are thankful to him for that also. And I am very sure that we will be part of the ranking framework also. We will also be somewhere in the ranking of institutions in the near future. So I request Dr. Arora now to take over. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Professor Gandhi. Suhas, Director, School of Social Sciences, Devi Sharma, Professor Archana Shukla, Dr. Jamo Yan. I'm not very sure if I'm pronouncing it correctly. Professor Umma Kanjilal, other colleagues from Department of Library Science, faculty from IGNOU, and other colleagues. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. And those who joined online. Thanks for the presenter for inviting me to share this talk. And like Dr. Jadip mentioned, Raghunathan, amongst his several other philosophies that he gave, librometry was one of them. Librometry is basically science of measuring library services and activities, and he introduced it. And I thought maybe ranking would be somewhere fit into that particular framework. So my topic would be, of course, ranking of education institutions. This Albert Einstein said that not everything that counts can be counted. That not everything that counts can be measured. Not everything that can be measured counts. So one of the most difficult problem in ranking universities, how do you count teaching, which is one of the most important function of a university? How do you do that? But of course, ranking, like Professor Haas mentioned, is a convenient and easy understandable method of evaluation and assessment. There is an ordinal number that is assigned to a university, which kind of denotes its comparative position among list of institutions that are there. Ranking are being lauded for their functions and they are being criticized. They are lauded because it serves as a tool for students, for faculty, for institutions, for funding agencies, but it is also criticized for the methodology. People are, very angry as to how can you represent a university by a number. University is much larger than just a number. It is focused on science, technology, and English because one of the important parameters is research output. And when it comes to research output, research article says what you have in mind, which may not be essentially the right way to assess. So it is being criticized. If you look at the history in 1870s, the Commission of the US Bureau of Education started publishing annual report. And in annual report, they started publishing statistical data and classify universities based on that data. Anyway, that can be said to be the beginning of ranking. But later, it is believed that US News came up with the US, first ranking in 1987. They took opinion of university president and brought up first ranking. Later, they decided that they'll have multi-dimensional methodology where they started using kind of parameters that we use now, teaching, research, and other. So it was not only opinion, it was objective data that they started. The first international meeting on ranking system was held in June 2002 in Warsaw, Poland. wherein necessity of designing a conceptual framework for ranking was discussed. International Ranking Expert Group was formed in 2004, which was later transformed as IREG Observatory. IR Observatory is still there. They have a site which lists about 25 international ranking system and about 100 national ranking systems. So they have an excellent website. There are people who have joined them and the countries that they have joined as members of IREG. The two most significant ranking systems were introduced in 2003 and 2004. We know that Shanghai ranking over academic ranking of our university, and of course Times Higher Education and QS ranking. Now they have separated, but in 2004 they came together and brought out these rankings. There were Berlin Principle of Ranking, which was defined during the second meeting of IREG Observatory in 2006 in Berlin, Germany. These principles define framework of what should it consist of, what should be regional, local, or global ranking, and how methods can be refined all the time. Ranking tables are also called league tables because Ivy League is, is group of universities in US which are known for their selectivity for academic excellence and higher social status. So they're also known as league tables. Why rank university? Professor Sohas has already outlined as to why do we rank university. They serve as a guide to students. They serve as a guide to university to improve their ranking. They help university to identify areas of improvement. They help industries and employers to target specific programs, students, and projects for hiring and research. And they provide a stable formula framework for ranking, evaluation, and assessment of university, and compete with other universities to improve their own ranking. That's the reason why we rank university. Look at the methodology. Ranking parameters are sets of quality criteria and indicators chosen to represent a surrogate quality of teaching, research, and other activity activities. Each indicator is assigned a weightage. That weightage sub-parameter scores are added and to obtain the score for individual category of parameters, and then they are all put together, computed based on the weight allocated to each category of parameters. We'll look into how we do it for NIL, but as of now, let us look at the major global ranking initiative. Like I mentioned, ARWU or Shanghai ranking was the first in 2003 that was introduced. QS World University Ranking was second, or one would say that QS and THE were ranking. Later they were separated. So THE, QS now are separate, but earlier they were together. So these are basically what like you have the 4 pillars of management. These are the 3 pillars of ranking that are known around the world. But like I mentioned, there are more than 25 international rankings. And there are rankings that are diplomatic based ranking. SIR, SciMac Institution ranking, Lighting ranking, Globometrics, and TU. They are 100% research and article citation based ranking. They also have their own place in the map of rankings. If you talk of ARWU, like I mentioned, it came in 2003. This is one of the rankings which does not collect any data from any user. They take it from public domain. Basically, they take data from Web of Science, and they take data from Nobel. Basically, Nobel laureate is one of the criteria that they have. Only these 2 things. They are lauded for their objectivity, stability, and transparency. But they are often criticized for size-dependent parameters, because if an institution is producing large number of research, it has to be large. There is no method to normalize it. So they are criticized for that. Their current publication and product include global overall ranking, global ranking of individual subjects, Greater China rankings, Chinese university ranking, Chinese medical university ranking, and Macedonian higher education ranking. So this is how they are divided. Most of it is on publication, and a few of them are on Nobel Prize. Anybody winning Nobel Prize, staff winning Nobel Prize, research impact in terms of citations, per capita academic performance, and paper indexing, social science index, and science citation index, and paper publication data. These are the criteria. You can see that 70% is on research, 0% of reputation, and 100% of public domain sources. They don't take any data from any institution. Their criteria for Nobel Prize, 30% goes for Nobel Prize. Now in 2003, Shanghai ranking, Free University Berlin was ranked based on the Nobel Prize given to Albert Einstein in 1940. So even that Nobel Prize brought a lot of points to them. In 2004, Humboldt claimed that this work was done when Einstein was working for Humboldt. So the credit was given to them. The Free University was dropped by the position. Humboldt was first ranked. In 2005, Shanghai University dropped both Humboldt University and Free University because there was a debate. They were not able to agree as to which one, to whom this credit should go. So the other thing is Nobel Prize does not necessarily reflect curriculum. It's a known fact. Now, how India performed in Shanghai ranking, you can see that 2011 to 60 there was only one institution, 2010 only two, then 18, 18 and 19 and again, but the number has dropped down to about 40. Times higher education, like I mentioned, QS and THE started together in 2004. In 2010, they separated. THE signed up with Thomson Reuters, of course, now this graduate analytics, adopted their own ranking, and QS inherited the ranking methodology that they were using. They have their own ranking. They criticize for undermining non-science and non-English institutions because of the fact that they use Web of Science, which does not index international languages. More than that, there are no, they don't have criteria to evaluate social science. The output can not only be journal article, but there could be any other manifestation which there is no way about the methodology has to be important for them. THE is designed in UK, where the emphasis is to attract students from across the world to Western world. The target, THE targets universities, economies of countries in Western world. Their product, of course, include overall ranking, subject ranking, reputation ranking, regional league tables for Asia, Latin America, and BRICS, ranking of institution in emerging economies. And they've also come up with impact ranking, depending on university, United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. So THE, you can see how their parameters and weightage are distributed. A lot of points for international diversity, international student, international faculty. Of course, you can say 37% is on research articles and citation, and 34.5% on reputation. There's a lot of weightage on reputation. Reputation can be very subjective, as we all know. This is how India is performed in THE. In fact, older IT, the 5 older ITs have withdrawn from THE. They feel that the parameters and methodology is not transparent. So, past 4 or 5 years, they have not participated. But still, the number are increasing. QS have 6 parameters. 50% for public perception, 20% for research publication, and rest is for international staff ratio and international ratio. A lot of emphasis on internalizations. This is how India is performed at QS. You can see the number of institutions that they have also increased from 700 in 2010 to about 1500. Reputation or perception-based evaluation used by QS and DHE can be highly subjective and biased towards famous university investors. In fact, there was a survey conducted. In fact, it was conducted to misguide universities just to say that why perception can be misguided. So they said, which is the most famous course done by one of the foreign universities. The choice was Harvard. Very sure which one, but they did not have a law school. This is the perception. If it is best, it has to come from Harvard. In fact, in Calcutta, they came up with one of the universities, West Bengal University, and after colleges were transferred to that West Bengal University. Suddenly, the intake of the colleges started coming. They didn't know why is that happening. So they finally found out that people did not want to take a degree from West Bengal University, they wanted to have it from Calcutta. So this is perception. The college is same, the faculty is same, but the perception is changed. So these are the limitations, and that is why we look at the ranking in India. Newspapers, magazines, they have been coming out with rankings. There is a site called Career 360, which is out rankings. We started ranking Indian University in 2013 based on diplomatic parameter, and of course, National Institute Ranking Framework implemented in 2016. So at InfitNet, we started using these two formulas. One is IUGR formula, developed by Spanish group, and another was National Taiwan University formula. So these two formula we used and started at university. Of course, we had a cut-off that institution who have at least 500 publications would be there. All of them cannot be ranked because the parameter used was something. So IUGR had two sets of parameters, quantitative indicators and qualitative indicators. Quantitative indicator includes number of publications, number of citations, H-index, and the formula is that QNINF, which is quantitative indicator, is product of total number of documents, total number of citations, and H-index. The qualitative parameter, there are four. First is the ratio of paper published in journals in the top JCR qualified. JCR is about 10,000 journals. So first 2,500 journals are included in this. Average number of citations received by all citable papers. Then ratio of papers belonging to top 10% most cited papers calculated within all institutions. And the QLIF consists of square cube of all these four parameters. The final product is multiply with QINF and QLIF. Yes, please.
Citable papers. I'm not very familiar with this terminology. What do you mean by citable papers?
Citable paper basically means that your output is Web of Science. So whatever is appeared in Web of Science or whatever is indexed in Web of Science is citable.
So if the paper is not indexed in the Web of Science,
then it is not cited.
it is not cited.
Yeah. So the idea is that you get citation from Web of Science and you divide it by the paper that I included. Thank you. Feel free to interrupt me. It's a long presentation. Whenever you have a question, please do. Now, NTU ranking, we rank the institution on both the formulas. But you can look at how you are ranked using NTU. You can look how you are ranked using the Spanish formula. So, NTU ranking, which of course is an international ranking, you have three components: research productivity, which is number of articles articles in last 11 years and number of articles in the current year. Research impact, which is number of citations in 11 years and number of citations in last 2 years and average number of citations in last 11 years. Research excellence, which is H index for last 2 years, number of highly cited papers and number of articles in current year high impact journals. So these are the three formulas used by them. This is the site which is still available, but we don't keep it updated because we are part of NIRF. We cannot participate in two ranking. But 2013 we ranked and the site is still available. Now coming to NIRF, 2022 NIRF was released on 15th July. Of course, the framework was launched on 29 September 2015. In 2016, the first ranking came. There are 5 parameters. I'll be talking about these 5 parameters. 10% goes to the perception, which is of course the subjective criteria. The perception is taken from appliers as well as from the faculty or peers. Outreach and inclusivity, which includes socially disadvantaged sections, regional diversity between faculty, that kind of ratio. Graduate outcomes, then 30% goes for teaching, learning, and resources, and 30% goes for research professional practices, which include basically citations, research papers. So these are the parameters: teaching, learning, and resources, student-student, faculty-student ratio, faculty with PhD, financial resources and utilization, and online education. This comes into teaching and research. Research and professional practices including publications, citations, patents, and projects. Graduation outcomes includes placement and higher study. The student goes for higher study, and then the students who are placed for employment in these examinations. Then median salary received by the student and PhD student. These all the criteria are not applied for all categories. Overall, we don't consider university exam, we don't consider median salary. Methodology depends on the subject domain that you are. So, outrage and inclusivity, I have already mentioned this. They are the regional diversity, diversity, one back for socially challenged students, and reputation, employees, and persons. I'll not go into details.
How do you take into consideration university exam?
University exam, basically, I mean, the results as to in terms of percentage, 90%. Sure.
So related to the perception, which is very subjective in nature, is there any questionnaire or whatever the framework has been provided that can be addressed during the conversation with the particular person, either employer or the another person who is academic peers?
Yeah.
So who will be the employers? The same level institution or something?
What we do is that we have a database of experts that is drawn from ACT as well as MBA. So, and of course, we have added more. We ask people to add more. So, we have a database. The survey goes only to those who are listed in our database, and they can name, say, 10 institutions, which should not be in their own region. If you are from Andhra Pradesh, you cannot name institutions in Andhra Pradesh. So, that kind of strategies that we have used. For employers, of course, no such restrictions are components. I'll not go into details of it, but 5 broad categories, 19 parameters, 40 macro parameters, and 20 micro parameters, and 12 parameters that are deeper details. So there are about 320 details. It's a massive exercise. wanted to say that it's a massive exercise. A lot of data comes from the institution themselves. Those data is validated. We call experts who get the outliers, who get the differences between what you institute claimed last year. So those kind of things are looked into. And the parameters are also normalized. Like financial resources and utilization, we divide it by number of students. Normalization basically means that if you are a large institution, you should not get advantage. So publication divided by number of faculty, citation divided by number of publication, research fund divided by number of faculty, median salary, 3 years average is taken, PhD student graduated divided by number of faculty, and ranking of institution use percentile, logarithmic scale, those kind of normalization methods. This is a typical formula. I will not go into it because it would be a bit too much. Let us look at the research. So I just want to underline those where we have normalized. Publication normalized faculty, top 25 percentile of publication normalized by publication. Then here this number of patent is normalized by number of faculty, things like that. The EDP and FDP offered by especially management colleges is normalized by number of programs in the last few years. So those kind of normalization. So this kind of this methodology is available on the website. You can look into it. Get your system. Go to that which are missing in the parameters. About 14, 19 broad parameters. What is missing is honors and awards to faculty and everybody. We're trying to zero down to, because there's just too many. We're trying to zero down to as to what are the awards that we should consider. Fellowship of National Academies, University of Excellence, editorial and referring for distinguished national and international conferences that you attend, paper present, chair a session, international collaboration, research output, which is not indexed in Web of Science or Scopus, books and other forms of documentary, non-documentary output, such as performances, pages, documentary. So these are the things which we have not been able to do that, and maybe majority of will not be replicated for coming editions also, but we are trying to include awards and honors. This is the workflow. Basically, two institutions that are deeply involved is NBA and IGNOU. IGNOU basically concentrates on the website, designing a website, crunching of data from the database, and of course, retrieval of publications, citations, and other things from Web of Science and Scopus. NBA concentrates on data validation by expert, verifications from GI and tools, because private universities they claim that students are getting control. So you look at the offer that they receive. So those kind of checks are there. Of course, there's a public feedback perception that also flow into the system before we end. So that system is nice. It's if that is done. So if look at the ranking categories, there are 4 categories, 7 subject domains. Then adding new for a Dr. Jadid, that is the time we're trying to look at yoga. There's a lot of pressure to include yoga institution. We're trying to include polytechnics, a lot of polytechnics. So keep for it. And then teachers education. So there could be a category for plenty of them. I'm sure it would be the first if that happens. The criteria has to be different. So if you look right now, this we have the faculty student ratio. Faculty student ratio, if it is less than 50 or rather more than 50, then we don't get rank institution at all. In IGNOU, that would be a problem. The faculty student ratio, it really doesn't matter here, but that is one one of the criteria. So we have come up with new parameters for open university. Research is another parameter which catches 30% of marks. So we have to see how to substitute that with open resources, with e-modules that you write, with the kind of courses that you offer. So new parameters have to be done for open. So these are the 2016 we ranked institution in 4 categories. The idea was that we have level B institution, level A institution, that is to be ground because hardly distinction was difficult. 2017 we added 2 categories overall colleges. 19 3 more disciplines were added, law, medical, and so in 20 dental was added, in 21 research. So now we have 11 total, 4 categories and 7 subjects. This is the participation. Participation is been increasing from 2000.